elevation. It's more than rap. Elevation. More than how your money stack. Elevation. Move forward, no going back. Elevation. Now where you from, but where you at? I be coming through, bombing shit with no hesitation. Step into this booth, slay this beat like my name was Jason. Domination and preparation led to a new sensation, new creation. That's what you're facing. Now watch my elevation.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros are comments made by Barry McGuigan. I believe that's how you say his name. If not, I apologize. But he made some comments about Anthony Joshua, and we're going to take a listen and see if we agree with the comments that were made. This video appears courtesy of Seconds Out. So actually, we're just going to listen to the comments because Seconds Out like to claim your videos if you use their footage. So we're just going to listen to the comments by Barry. All right, here we go.
Anthony Joshua, it's a fantastic move for him. How likely do you think that'll help him in the second fight? What can happen?
Well, there's a number of... I could give you a long-winded answer to that question, but the reality is so much of it is in Joshua's head. You know, he's been knocked down, he's been hurt, he's knocked out by Andy Ruiz, and there would be those who say that he's never looked the same since, and he's always had that nervousness about him. I think it's more apparent now than ever before. Robert Garcia is a very good coach, and I know that he done loads of technical sparring for the last fight, which was a load of codswallop. I don't know why he done that, but you know, Garcia won't tolerate that. He will get him in shape and get him into the right condition, and it's you have to look at it like realistically, it's his last chance. If he gets soundly beaten or possibly even stopped in this fight, where does he go from there? So he really needs to win this fight. He knows there's a lot of pressure on him. He's got the physicality to win it. He's got to get his tactics right, and he's got to apply those tactics. And in my mind, just go and walk the guy down with head movement, use a solid jab, hit him hard to the body, work the body very hard, then lift your shots up as the fight goes on and just grind him down, walk him down, use your physical strength. That's the way he's got to win the fight. Nothing else. It's not that complicated.
Just a couple more.
All right, those are words of Barry. Says that it's in Anthony Joshua's head. He also said that he did a load of technical sparring, so I want to get your opinion on that. Technical sparring versus like actually sparring someone, and he felt like that didn't help him. And he says that if Joshua loses, then it's over for him. And what do you think about those things? So I'm turning over to you, Trill Dollar Bill. What's your reaction to all that?
Yeah, we've been saying this a long time ago. What has it been doing? Watching Boxing Bros? Nah. I feel like we had this conversation multiple times about it's all in AJ's head, you know? And that's why he ended up getting a therapist before and everything else. I think the thing with AJ is, you know, sometimes you want these fighters like to not care about what people think and not read the articles and stuff like that. I feel like AJ really cares what people think, and that could be a downfall. Just go out there and do what you have to do, son. And just, you know, don't overthink it. You know, you got all the tools. He has all the tools to be great. He just doesn't have the, you know. But I totally agree. It's all in Anthony Joshua's head. You know, it's all in his head. But AJ, he's gonna. I don't know. He just. That's how I feel. I'm sorry, I don't got much to add. Of course, we've been talking about this for so long. It's all in AJ's head. It's definitely.
All right. Conspiracy G.
Yeah. This one's tough because I agree with Barry and most of what he was saying, but like for one, the fact that even Barry is saying this is AJ's last chance, right? Just that mentality is a lot of pressure on AJ, right? And it's like, hey, if you lose, then it's over. So obviously, if he thinks like that, which Barry is also co-signing, then that's a major problem going into this fight. But if AJ just goes into this like it's just another fight, another day at the job, then, hey, I think he'll perform a lot better, you know? But again, there's a lot riding on this performance, so that could be a lot of pressure that affects AJ's performance. Now, when it comes to like the technical sparring, to be honest with you, I think technical sparring makes sense against a guy like Usyk because of the stuff that Usyk does that a lot of heavyweights do not do. Like Usyk is like he's a major outlier in the heavyweight division. You know, like he moves around. Like you don't really see that with a lot of heavyweights, you know? And so you just doing regular sparring with guys, maybe, unless you got, it's hard to find guys that can replicate a Usyk style. So the guys that you do have, you're going to have to put them through drills. Like you're going to do this, AJ, you're just going to respond with this to get them used to, not them, to get AJ used to the type of movements that Usyk will do in the ring. But again, you know, these guys aren't Usyk. So it's going to be difficult, man. But I think we've talked about this before where it's like, AJ, you just got to be a bully, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to box with this dude because Cleve's going to outbox you. But if you muscle him, you can out-muscle him. You know what I mean? So, but again, there's so much riding on this fight for AJ that this dude, Barry, I see what he's saying, but even within what he's saying, he's also applying more pressure on AJ because even he's saying that it's AJ's last chance.
Go ahead, sir. Real quick.
You know what? I was leaving that part out because we have another subject coming up. And I thought that what he said tied into another subject that we got coming up.
It does too. It actually does. Yeah.
So I'll wait.
All right, TVE.
Yeah, I agree. We done seen when AJ fought before he fought Andy Ruiz, it was like reports saying he needed he seek therapy. And you know, it's a lot of things going on in that man's head, and I think he's just a little confused right now. But I think AJ has the skills and abilities to figure it all out and break those mental barriers that he's going through. And AJ, this is all in your head, and you gotta know how to dog it out sometimes. You know how to just push through and persevere. I feel like he'll be able to overcome those aspects that he's facing right now, or those, you know. And that's about it. You know, I agree with everything Barry McGuigan said, but you know, it's all on AJ. Like, we're not in the man's head. We don't know what he's facing. Maybe AJ's a big tough guy, and inside he's a Barbie doll. You know. But
yeah. So to get to this, I think we've been saying it's in AJ's head for the longest time, and it's a mindset, and it's his mentality that has to change. So in that aspect, I agree with Barry. The technical sparring, I think it's cool to implement both, but I think you need to actually spar, really spar, in order to help build your win for fights. So as the old saying goes, you run to get in sparring shape, and you spar to get in fighting shape. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is. You know, when you first start a camp, you're running so you can spar. And once you spar, you're sparring so that you can get in fighting shape, but also sharpen your reflexes and do a lot of other things. To me, quite frankly, if I was training AJ, the first person I would call as a sparring partner would be Frank Sanchez. I think Frank Sanchez is a great sparring partner who's elusive, who moves around and could mimic Usyk's style very well. I'd be the first person I would call and say, hey, would you be willing to give the champ some work, you know, and see what he says? I mean, I don't see how I could hurt Frank to do it, and I think it would help Anthony Joshua. But, you know, when you talk about the technical sparring, yeah, it helps for situational purposes, but experience is the best teacher. And I say this before, you can work on form, but at some point you have to, if you're a sprinter, you have to run. You can work on the start, you can work on the dig phase, and then you can work on finishing. You can work on all the technical aspects of that. But if you never actually run, you're just knowing what you're doing, what you should do at certain points, but you're not going to put it together fluidly. And I think that's what you see in Anthony Joshua is a man who knows what to do, but he doesn't spend so much time putting it together, so it's not fluid. Like you see him thinking it out. Like I'm supposed to do this and this. Whereas like when you actually do it, it becomes like second nature. When we watch sprinters run, a lot of people don't realize there's like some of them 4 phases that they're going through, but they go through it so quickly. Where it's like AJ, you see him like, okay, I got to get a good start. Okay, now I got to dig. Okay, now I got to get up and accelerate. Like you see the motions going, and it's not fluid. And that's why I think sparring would be important for him.
It's like a Boatsi. Boatsi is the same way. You can see that,
especially in his last fight.
Stuff, yeah.
Especially in his last fight. Yep, that's a good example. Like, yeah, like they know what they're doing, but you see them thinking it out because it's not fluid. It's not like second nature to them. And I think that's where sparring comes in. And just to close with, if AJ doesn't win, he's finished. You know, and like Trill said, we have another segment that kind of discusses this. But I think that's a mentality that's shared among a lot of people, which is if he doesn't win, it's a wrap for him. Like that's the mentality that's being shared among a lot of people. So whether that's actually going to be a thing, we'll discuss in the next segment. But I do think that's a scenario, and that's how a lot of people are seeing it. So
let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We're going to keep this rolling. It's the Boxing Bro.